Guys, the Goblin is coming.
What do you mean?
Hi everybody, we're here. Hey, I got a lovely guest with me today.
Hello.
How you doing? Claire Bear's here.
Yay. Hey
Yay.
everybody.
Welcome. Today we've got a little bit of, I don't know what to call this. I don't know what to call this. We did a quick last minute change because Karma's a little bit indisposed right now, so we'll catch her next time. She had to go run, so we'll catch her with Depp and do an update there, because there was actually another change that happened with that case, and that they're actually going to be announcing the conclusions. So it was far better for us to just wait.
Give it another day or so, right? And
yeah, wait for those to come out. And I had this on the back burner because I saw this and I was like, oh god. Actually, I got this from Min, who had posted this on Twitter, and I was like, what am I looking at?
I said the same thing when you sent it to me. Like, what is this? What is this?
Yeah, so we're gonna dive in and actually see if we can figure out what this actually is, because it's and I used to listen to this band when I was in high school, so like last year.
Like only a year. Only a year. Okay.
So, the only reason I'm not in school right now is because of Kofefe, otherwise I'd be in high school right now.
Oh, stop. Stop. Oh, are you legal age to be in here with me? Am I gonna get in trouble?
I make sure to go to Catholic school so that way I can eat all the babies that pop out, because they have the highest birth rates and pregnancy rates.
Okay, I need to sign a waiver, like, right the fuck now.
For anybody who doesn't know, that's a rollover joke from last week, as well as what's Twitter this week, because people are super mad at me for some reason.
Well, I told you, just eat the rich. The hell with the rest of them.
If you have any idea of what's going on in my Discord, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
No, just we can't. All right, I'm crying now. You can stop.
If I really want to make this guy mad, I'm gonna say that I liked 1,000-Foot Crutch better than Skillet.
Oh, you have said that. Are you gonna say it in public? Let's post that. Let's put it right in the chat. Put it right.
1,000-Foot Crutch greater than Skillet. Hashtag at.
Hashtag. They are so much better. But don't forget to add them. You know.
Well,
yo, John.
Actually, this guy does has a whole YouTube channel podcast thing, and like, actually, that's one of these are the people that are in the band. So I don't know, I'm gonna start following this now, because now I want to know what else this guy is saying about other topics, because this is piqued my interest.
I think it's great content. I think you're gonna get a quote a day. I think you could be Twitter famous with this.
No. The description of the channel, though. In many ways, the social media world has created an angry culture where people are constantly screaming at each other over philosophical, theological, or political differences. People who wonder if it's more virtuous to love and accept someone they disagree with, or stand up and scream at someone they disagree with. The Cooper Stuff podcast was created for multiple reasons. It's a more in-depth look for the fans into who John Cooper of Skillet is and what he thinks, but it's also meant to be comic relief for an increasingly angry and stressed out world. Guys, it's comedy.
Well, I'm glad it's comedy, because I don't even know how to approach it any other way.
It's gonna be comedy gold. Let's see. John Cooper of Christian rock band Skillet strongly condemns Cardi B's Grammy performance and likened the ceremony to Hitler's propaganda. Quote, if you go back and you read some of Hitler's speeches, ellipses, that's what's happening right now on the Grammys.
On the Grammys. Yeah.
On the Grammys.
On the Grammys. Okay. Yeah. Are there other Grammys that I don't know about? Is there like another show? Is there some other reference I'm missing here?
No, I'm pretty sure it's just the regular Grammys, the regular plain old Grammys.
regular plain old so like he's serious? Like you're telling me he's
Yeah.
serious?
Well, no. What do you? I don't know. It's on his podcast, and his podcast is for the chuckles. Remember, it says that it's comic relief.
Well, that's a small blessing for me right there, because I was having a hard time. Yeah.
When you're invoking Hitler, and people can't tell it's a joke, you may have gone astray.
You may. That's a very good point. It was like we're actually doing a stream on that about using humor on touchy subjects, and is it too soon?
Is it too
far?
soon? I mean, I think that's a good question.
This might be.
It's too soon after Cardi B's performance.
It's too soon. It might be too far since it's the Grammys.
We've gone too far. They knew too much. All right, let's see what the article says. And see if, like, because I've talked about this before, particularly on these streams, that sometimes articles, in the clickbait world we live in, sometimes the articles aren't, the title of the articles and the little blurbs aren't the most accurate to what was being said. So let's try to give this guy some charity and actually listen to what he's had to say and see if he's, you know, actually saying that Cardi B is basically Hitler.
Okay, so you're asking me to give him some grace. Well, we can do that. We can do that for a little bit.
I mean, he's written some decent songs. I think we can give him that much.
Yes.
Actually, I don't know that. I don't know if they actually write their songs or if they're performers. I don't have a problem with people who do one way or the other. I just don't know where this guy falls. Like I said, it's been a while.
Well,
so
a
this
whole
was
year since you got out of high school.
A whole year? It's been a whole year since I listened to a Skillet song. John Cooper of Christian rock band Skillet is the latest conservative personality to take offense with Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallone's WAP performance at the 2021 Grammy Awards. Cooper condemned the erotic nature of the performance that saw the two artists grinding on each other and simulating sex on a giant prop bed. He then compared the public's woke reaction as an example of confusing good with evil, citing a Bible verse from the book of Isaiah, quote, "Woe to those who call evil good and good evil." Quote, "We're living in a world right now where there are certain Dr. Seuss books you cannot sell on eBay," Cooper said on his Cooper Stuff video podcast, as transcribed by Blabbermouth. But I also watched the video, so we'll get there. Quote, there are just too much for anybody to ever be allowed to buy. They're being yanked down from the bookstores and stuff like that. It's just too much. It's too evil. Yes, Dr. Seuss is too evil. He seems to have a very misguided understanding of what happened with Dr. Seuss books.
That was very common, actually. A lot of people had that misunderstanding.
So for anybody who doesn't know what happened with Dr. Seuss, the publishers who are the ones who have the rights to publish Dr. Seuss books decided to not publish a handful of them. They didn't get pulled off of stores, they didn't get pulled off of shelves, there are still places where you could buy them if you wanted, but the publishers decided to remove them from print for the time being.
Right.
For multiple reasons.
Right. But none of them were evil or a Hitler reference that I saw in any of those reasons as to why they pulled the book. So.
No. But there was like I don't recall anybody saying, or any of those publishers saying, Dr. Seuss is evil, pull all Dr. Seuss books.
No, I read a lot and I never heard that either. Not at all.
Shauna One Love says, welcome to the New World Order.
And there it is. Cooper saying, because it was evil. Okay.
Because it's too evil. Well, I think he's saying that he's like, oh, they're pulling the books down because they're too evil. They're too much. Dr. Seuss is too much. And it's like, yeah, that's not why. Nope. But you can and must applaud the sexual degradation of Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion? Stallion?
Yep.
Stallion?
The Stallion. It's The Stallion. Yeah.
The Stallion.
Megan Thee Stallion. Yeah.
Oh.
Makes it so much better, doesn't it, Josh?
I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard a stripper name before, but
that's one. That would be one.
I'll give it that.
Okay.
The sexual degradation of Cardi B and Megan the Stallion. Sorry. It's gonna take me a little bit to get used to. Simulating sex together on the Grammys.
Think those big thoroughbred racehorses. That'll help.
Yeah, like Mustangs.
Yeah, but it's stallion. Like,
but stallions. Untamed. Stallion of the Cimarron, the Universal movie.
Hey, you want me to look like race here? Stop.
As performed by, who was it that did that movie now? Oh, that's gonna... Who was it that did the music for Stallion? He's the Canadian guy. No! Oh, hold on. No, I can't let this go. I can't let this go.
Oh, you have the music?
Who's the artist who did it? There's a Wikipedia, because of course there's a Wikipedia. Who did the music?
Who did the
music?
Music by...
No, that's Hans Zimmer. That's not who I'm looking for. Yeah, he did, but I'm looking for the,
just the song?
Adams, wasn't it?
Bryan Adams?
Yes!
There you go.
Yes! Thank you, Bryan Adams.
Bryan Adams. Yeah.
The Megan the Stallion brought to you by Bryan Adams.
That's just wrong. That's just wrong. That doesn't even work in my, like, wow. No.
This is the perfect example. You must celebrate it. In fact, if you don't celebrate it, then you are actually a bad person, and you're and you kind of like don't love people. Hey, listen, we're sitting here making having a little bit of a laugh, and so we're bad. We're awful bad people.
We are must. Evil today. We are gonna laugh at every single part of this because it is. Let's just face it, people. It's freaking ridiculous.
Oh yeah, no, everything. You're actually not nice.
No, we don't have to be, like, you can't ask me to have grace about this, really. I mean, I'll try, but...
You're not nice.
I can't always be nice. I can't. This is much. This is much. Especially if you throw Bryan Adams in there. It's like, oh my God.
Cooper then quotes the affirmations passage of Isaiah before leaping to a bizarre analogy comparing Grammys to propaganda speeches by Nazi dictator Adolf Hitler.
All right.
Quote, why would anyone ever call evil good and good evil? It's simple, because they just redefine the terms, Cooper said. The question is, who is going to define what is good and who is gonna define what is evil? Every dictator...
Wait. Did he just say, go ahead, people, swap them out? It works. Did he just say that? Did he just say that?
Okay, so he's making a semantics argument. He's saying, oh, well, they're just changing the semantics. They're just changing the words, and so good is evil and evil is good, and they're using these words like either they're swapping them or they're using them interchangeably.
And it's all good.
This reeks of I'm 14 and this is deep.
I'm not. It's really not.
It's not.
It's really not.
I kind of feel bad because the guy just earnestly seems confused.
I don't even know if it's that. I venture to say delusional a little bit. Like, maybe.
Well, I don't know how much of what he does and says. Like I said, this is the first time I've even heard the dude has like a video podcast thing. So I don't know how earnest he is and how much is just playing to his audience. I'm not sure. But I'm gonna start watching. I'm gonna find out.
I'm sure we're all gonna find out. This is I'm glad you told that you read the back part and that we can at least refer to that most of this is comedy. I would be truly distressed at this moment.
I can't. Oh, don't you worry. We have the actual video, so we can hear the comedy in his voice. We can hear how much he's just kidding.
Was that a disclaimer you just threw at me there?
Maybe. Maybe. Who's going to define what is good and who's going to define what is evil? Every dictator in history says that what they were doing was good. That's what they believe. If you go back and you read some of Hitler's speeches, he's like, I'm going to set people free from the bondage of the 10 Commandments. When did Hitler ever say that? I need a source, please. I don't... I don't know, but I'm gonna press X to doubt.
Okay, let's just put history on its head here. Okay.
I mean, you guys all need to do a quick Hitler quote check.
Anybody want to help us here? Was that ever said? I don't think so. I don't think so. But
I'm gonna go ahead and say I don't know for sure.
How about I just go ahead and say doubt it? Like,
press X to
improbable.
Press X to doubt. X in the chat.
Yeah. X where the reference should be. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna need a source. So if anybody's got one. In his mind, he's a liberator. Yeah, but he wasn't a liberator from the 10 Commandments. He was a liberator from the Jewish people. Why? Wait,
no!
That's what it was, though.
That's not liberation.
No, it wasn't. He was obviously lying. He was wrong, but that's what he said. That's what his position was. The great they of you know, anti-Semitism.
Not a liberator. Wrong.
I mean, I guess,
you know, now he has grammatically offended me. He is using the wrong word.
I mean, I guess there's something to be said for the 10 Commandments were laws towards the Jewish people? The Hebrews in Egypt? So, maybe he's making a jump in logic there to be like, I'm liberating you from the great they of these people, and these people had these rules, and so I'm liberating you from... He's like jumped the shark?
I don't know, but usually when you like rewrite something that somebody is referring to, there does need to be at least 2 or 3 words of truth from the original statement. You would think, yeah?
Hitler said this, and he actually said none of those words.
None, not one. Like, yeah, quote, here, this is what he said, and I just rephrased it, and I didn't use even the original thought. I don't know where it came from. I don't know.
Smitty said, quote, being the right race is good, being the wrong race is evil. The Bible, actually.
Oh, true. At least Smitty's got 3 words of the original quote in there. Which
good and evil.
And he listed a source. Yay, Smitty! X marks the source.
The Bible, actually.
Yes.
Oh
God.
It's always like that, you guys. All you do is you just redefine evil and you redefine good. That's what's happening right now on the Grammys.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, that's what the Grammys are all about. Morality. Didn't you know?
You make it bigger and bigger. Like, as soon as I think I know where this is going, you make it so much bigger. Like, God, I'm the one that's going to need grace to get this.
I want to talk about real quick how the Grammys are actually just a giant convention get-together where artists discuss what is good and what is evil, and so they perform it's an interpretive performance about what is and what is morally allowed and not allowed.
Exactly.
In society.
They're there defining morality and code for all of us. They are going to redefine our societal parameters as they perform. You know, half naked, shaking it all over the place. Like, yes!
Well, it's not even like they were even half naked. I saw some of the pictures, and they're like clearly wearing stockings, and they're clearly got like layers on, right? It's like...
It's just, it was a biblical reference to help out Mr. Cooper there.
No.
Oh boy.
I still don't think this is I still don't think this is quite as good as when who was it, Ben Shapiro is reading off the lyrics being like, this is unacceptable.
Unacceptable. Right?
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable. It's like I just can't. This is totally unacceptable.
What is it? When Cooper here goes full lemon grab.
Oh.
Cooper's logic is dubious, to say the least.
Okay, we're gonna go lemon grab. Let's go.
Back in January, he blasted Twitter's censorship of Donald Trump following storming the Capitol, yet his ire toward the Grammys sounds a lot like a call for censorship. What did he say?
Oh.
Freedom of speech is gonna be gone. Is it?
Oh, it's... Let's just burn it all to the ground, Chess. Just burn it. It's like...
This guy's my new favorite. I don't know what you're talking about.
The whole sentence is an oxymoron. Like, I can't...
Trump's Twitter account, blah, 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 blah,
blah, blah, blah. It's like...
In penning an open letter to New Hampshire Governor Chris whatever. Well, no, I don't care what Phil said. I want to know what...
let's hear more from...
I want to hear what John said. Mr. Cooper. Meanwhile, Skillet's Cooper stressed that he wasn't supporting Trump when criticizing the ban of the president on social media, saying in part, quote, "Look, I don't follow Trump on Twitter. I'm not into it. Some people love it. Some people hate it. Some people are in between. People say all sorts of weird stuff on Twitter." I mean, that's true.
Oh,
all sorts of violent, inflammatory stuff. Look, I get it, but that's not gonna lead to somewhere good, and I think that's a lot of people really freaked out. To me, that's not the freakiest thing. The freakiest thing to me is all the subsequent things. Oh god, the way this guy speaks. I'm like, wait a minute, what does this mean? If Twitter has the power to censor the president, what does that mean? I think that's what people are freaking out about. He wasn't the president when he got censored, that's the thing.
Right. They didn't do that while he was president.
Censored. He wasn't censored, either. He was just removed for breaking the terms of service. There's tons of people that are conservative that don't like Trump's tweets. There's tons of people that kind of wish he wouldn't tweet so much. I don't think that's what people are freaked out about. I think people are like, wait a minute, if they can do that to him, what does that mean for everybody else?
Well, that's a good
Correct! Don't break the terms of service. This isn't, oh, no.
Alright, there's your grace, John. We will give you a few more minutes of this. There's your grace, okay.
Yeah, okay, in his defense, he says that he doesn't follow Trump on Twitter, and it sounds like he doesn't really Twitter too much. And so I can understand him being free.
I can too, I just don't believe him based on what he said before.
Right. So
I just can't.
You don't, it's a lack of understanding of the situation. The same way it was a lack of understanding, it's lazy. I'm just gonna say some stuff I kinda on the side heard about Dr. Seuss and then make outrage about it and be inflammatory about it while complaining about everything being inflammatory all the time.
Are you trying to tell me he looked at like Twitter trending and just pulled the top like 3 things out?
How much you want to bet it wasn't Twitter and it was actually Facebook?
It probably was Facebook. It sounds like it was Facebook. You're probably correct.
Just a shot in the dark. Just a guess. Just a shot in the dark.
You're so smart for just graduating high school.
I can't graduate because of Covfefe. All right, let's go back to the Grammys thing. His misunderstanding of the Trump situation is it's, oh no, he did a talk about this too. Okay, we're gonna come back to this. We're gonna
please.
We're gonna put a pin in that, and we're gonna look at that another day.
Click. Moving on.
Favorite.
Let's go.
Bookmarked.
Bookmarked.
Okay, update. So here's an update on March 19th. Cooper has attempted to clarify his comments about Cardi B, the Grammys, and Hitler in a follow-up video.
Thank God for that.
Watch it here. I have the follow-up video.
Do I need a tissue? I've got one. Go ahead.
Fellow conservative talking head Tucker Carlson. Why Tucker Carlson? Why is Tucker Carlson?
Why not? It can't get any worse.
Oh my God! Can you get worse than Tucker Carlson? The real question.
No, that's what I said. Just like it's a dumpster fire. Hey, here's some fuel.
Let's throw this white nationalist whistle. He is just the whistle. That's it.
Yeah. And where else would you throw it except for on a Hitler fire? Go right ahead. Throw it right in there. Let's go.
Yeah, fair. Fellow conservative talking head Tucker Carlson has had his own ongoing saga surrounding the song. After decrying the music video last year, the Fox News host went on a similar on-air rant after the Grammys, during which he hypocritically playing the degrading clip multiple times on Fox News. So he's like playing it. He's like, look at how bad this is. Look at it. Look at it. You shouldn't be allowed to see this.
And it was all about the message. It had nothing to do with the imagery or any of that. It was all the message, yeah.
I like this, by the way. Skillet, by the way, just announced a month-long spring drive-in theater U.S. tour that kicks off on April 22nd in Indiana. While the number of dates will require people to watch from their cars, some shows will call for attendees to socially distance in the venue.
Oh, there you go.
All right, do we want to see what he actually said so that we get the full context of what he's...
Well, I guess it would be clearer to hear him actually say his own words. We might get intent and context. It could help. Because I'm wondering over here, like, I'm lost.
All of his stuff is about jokes, man. It's all for the jokes and to lighten up stuff that's already too toxic.
I feel so light right now.
I'm sure this will not be in any way throwing fuel on that fire and will legitimately just be, just kidding, guys. Haha, look at how the media takes stuff out of context.
Yeah, all right.
All right, let's see what he has to say. This is 10 minutes. I've also got the update, which is only 3 minutes long, pulled up. And so keep in mind, just make little mental notes in your head about what he actually says about Hitler and how this leads into the next bit of conversation. So that way, when we hear his explanation or his clarification, we can decide about whether or not he's just full of shit. Maybe he's not. He might not be. Although, I think maybe...
Got a psychological problem with women.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
What's up, everybody? Cooper Stuff, 10-minute talk. All right, Cooper Stuff reacts to Cardi B's performance at the Grammys. If you haven't seen
the intro.
Is that him introing himself?
That's him introing himself. And something about it... I don't know what it is about this, like, just 5-second clip of, like... hey, this is me and this is my podcast way of, I don't know, something about the way he introduces it tickles my fancy. And I'm not sure, I haven't decided why yet.
I haven't decided it's him yet. I mean, okay.
What's up, everybody? Cooper Stuff, 10-minute talk.
Him.
All right, Cooper Stuff reacts to Cardi B's performance at the Grammys. If you haven't seen it, you don't really need to. Pretty weird stuff. All right, I'm not just going to go off on this for no reason. There's a reason we're talking about this.
He's got a reason.
This is a perfect example. Because it's so silly and so overt and it's so obvious. It's a perfect example to talk about some of the things, the larger picture things. And so when you,
for
Christians and people that are struggling with wokeness or social justice, and you're like, I don't know where to belong on this, and the emotional arguments, and you feel stretched. When you have those things, I want you to remember this Cooper Stuff episode, because this is going to highlight how silly and ridiculous our world has become, okay?
Okay.
Thanks. Thank you.
I am very not sure what he's talking about anymore.
Well, apparently we're not woke, and we need him to straighten this all out for us about how confusing everything is. And
I mean, I'm confused.
I'm getting more confused. Nice accent, though, dude. Hey, I'll give you that. I can listen. Go ahead.
I'm not sure. From my understanding, he's trying to explain how ridiculous woke culture is and how all their positions are all based on an argument from emotion. I'll be clear before we get into it about where my position kind of is about this, is that when it comes to a lot of the ideals that SJWs have, I agree with. So, like, of course everybody should have equal rights. Of course equity and equality are important. Of course everybody should be treated as their own person, and of course you should be respected for your identity, etc., etc.
Right.
What I don't agree with is the tactics, the way a lot of SJW stuff goes about.
Oh, are you talking about the
to
shove it down my throat and stand on the box stuff like that?
Yeah, a lot of it's very toxic, eating each other, poor. It's like not good argumentation. So I would rather see better argumentation rather than let's just try and tear everybody down. So instead of building themselves up, they're just focused on bringing everybody else down. So it's not a good way of going about things, and it goes about alienating people who are otherwise trying to understand and otherwise help you, so that way you no longer have people who would otherwise be allies, especially when you're throwing around terms onto people who don't where they don't belong. So, like, don't call somebody a racist because they're wrong about something, or if somebody's being inappropriate about something. It
doesn't mean they don't have an argument or they don't have a point, right?
Right. There's a different, yeah. So Smitty says many SJWs don't believe in equal rights. Correct. There's a good number of like the toxic Twitter side of the SJWs that are like, no, I should be over you people because you people are bad. It is a they versus us situation, and it ends up being very, very problematic, and it doesn't really help any of these causes. It doesn't help anybody. It's a lot of
those are never productive. Right?
Yeah, I'm gonna be offended for this group of people even though they didn't ask me to. So, like, people don't... it's one thing to be an ally, and it's another thing to help people out when requested in a way that it's productive. It's another... and be an ally in that case. It's another thing to speak for people and to infantize them and treat them as if they can't speak or stand up for themselves.
Exactly.
Right? So... that'll be another talk I'm going to be having actually soon. So subscribe for that. That'll be happening. But
hey, Cooper.
So yeah, it seems already that he's talking to people who don't know what they're talking about. So, like, he's not that that's necessarily a bad thing. He seems to be trying to talk to people who are lost and confused or upset by what's going on, but don't know how to feel about it. And so he's going to explain it to us.
I can't wait.
I'm looking forward to it. Educate me, Mr. Cooper.
Try, Mr. Cooper.
Look, we're living in a world right now where there are certain Dr. Seuss books that you cannot sell on eBay, all right?
Wrong.
Because they're not being published. Wrong. You can sell them on eBay.
You could still sell them. eBay is the place you could sell them if you happen to have a used copy.
Because the previous published ones are out there. You can sell them. They're just not being published, Mr.
I have a
Cooper.
question. Do you think this guy gets just as upset about the Disney Vault? You know how Disney doesn't publish, like, The Little Mermaid for 20 years and then brings it out of the vault and republishes, makes it available again?
You know what? At this point, I think it might bring a tear to his eye. I think he might get a little emotional about it. I really do.
They're just too much for anybody to even be allowed to buy.
You notice how he didn't specify which books?
Like that. It's just too much. It's too evil.
He doesn't know it wasn't
so you can't go on eBay and buy it. Too evil.
For trending.
But
he doesn't know
you
what...
can and must applaud the sexual degradation of Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, simulating sex together on the Grammys.
Okay, so you must... Okay, what is sexual degradation, then? It's not missionary?
He didn't learn anything? I don't know.
Well, that's the question. Like, so he's throwing a couple of different things out, right? He's throwing out that you must applaud this sexual degradation. So first off, all right, so you're gonna take two women scissoring is sexual degradation, or is it because it's two women? Is it because it's on stage? Is it because it's in public in a performance? Where is the line with Cooper here? That's what I'm not sure about. He's deciding that this is sexual degradation, but I'm not sure what part of it he's referring to.
Well, now I'm enticed because maybe he's going to tell us. Do you think? Maybe.
I don't think he's going to tell us. I think he's just claiming that as a fact.
No proof, no point, no nothing.
Well, I mean, he can have that position. He can have that opinion. But if you want people to be able to understand what you're trying to say, you need to explain what it is exactly you're trying to say. So what part of it, this screams to me like the, well, it's so obvious you should know. But the answer is that no, I don't know what you're trying to say.
Does he?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm really getting confused. I don't know what he's actually trying to tell us here. Well, it's like, is simulating sex on screen the problem? Is it the simulation or the appearance of, like, simulating sexual acts? Because if that, I don't mind what he decides. Like, I'm not going to tell him he can't have his opinion. I don't care about that. But, I mean, you had Michael Jackson doing that.
Right. No, you have everybody doing that. Why don't you just go back to, like, the system that promotes that got this particular song and artist on the Grammys in front of a national artist with mass approval? Like,
right, yeah, it's not entirely just on her, right? It's on...
Exactly. It's not the artist issue. It was completely acceptable. It was popular. It's out there for whatever reason, and I'd like to know what his issue is about it. Really.
So I'm not even like a fan of Cardi B. Like, I'm not like that. No. That style, that type of music, not my thing. But does that mean she shouldn't? Either. Like, her performance was approved.
It was.
But for things like the Grammys, these things they go through practice. They go through, like, this isn't like.
In the Grammys, isn't that the one where the awards are all promoted by, like, record sales, like actually money spent and popularity, like people wanted to hear this and see this?
Yeah, there's a few of them. So, like, I think one of the big Grammys blow-ups that people remember is the Taylor Swift one, and Kanye West went up and said, "I'm gonna let you finish, but Beyonce."
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you finish. And now, so what does a lot of Taylor Swift music promote? Teenage relationships. A lot of her songs are about relationships when you're in high school.
Exactly.
Is that not okay, according to Cooper? This is what I mean. I don't know what he's saying. What is the part of this that is the degradation part? That's what I don't understand. I don't know.
And is it degrading if they have chose to go out there and do it themselves and have made millions and millions of dollars doing it in an acceptable performance on any other standard?
Well, there also seems to be like this idea that you must applaud it. You not only have to accept it, but you have to applaud it also. Where?
No, I don't agree with that. I think they should have the right to do it. I don't like it. I'll say I don't like it. You know.
There's a reason I don't listen to, like, top 40s radio.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it, you know.
I didn't watch the Grammys either.
No, and I didn't either, but still, they have every right to do it. I don't have to like it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's nothing to say that, like, if this is something that's popular and people want to watch, I'm not going to tell them they can't.
I wouldn't use the word degrading because I didn't like it, you know.
Or because you did like it.
Yeah, maybe that's the issue. Maybe that's his issue. We should listen. Yeah.
This is the perfect example. You must celebrate. In fact, if you don't celebrate it, then you're actually a bad person, and you kind of like don't love people.
What?
Was there a parade that I missed about this?
What? What? Well, so okay. All right. We don't like. Oh, Did I just hear that? We don't like people if we didn't like.
If you don't celebrate Cardi B's performance at the Grammys, you don't like people.
I'm a people hater. Oh my god, I didn't know. I didn't know. Thank you, Mr. Cooper. I've been trying to figure that out.
I am trying really hard to understand what he's trying to say instead of what he's actually saying, because what he's actually saying makes no sense.
It's so ridiculous. Like I can't keep a straight face. Like I can't even formulate a sentence.
Then I guess his podcast is succeeding.
Than I am right now, because this. It's got to be a joke, right?
Well, remember,
it's a joke.
It is right? It's like, an in-depth. It's for comic relief.
You're punking me right now, Chad. Are you with this video? Because I can't take one word serious so far. I mean, it just gets worse.
I don't. Oh, we haven't even gotten to the Hitler part yet.
Have you watched it all the way through?
Yeah.
At least, can you throw me a bone and?
There's no hope for you.
Better? Oh God. All right. Okay. I'm putting on my wetsuit. Let's go.
Right? You're actually not nice.
Bad.
This is
it's
a perfect
so
example,
bad.
you guys. Let me read you a scripture you all know.
Yeah.
Isaiah 5:20. This is perfect. We've been talking about this a lot in the last year.
God.
Woe to those who call evil good and good evil. That's it. There's your Bible lesson for today. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil. I don't think that would ever really happen.
What about...
You just said it, dude. You quoted an article. I just read it. I saw it. Like, what the fuck? What?
This dude, can I point out that this guy has tattoos? I'm just saying, if he's gonna be quoting scripture about what is allowed and what isn't allowed, the dude's got tattoos.
I'm totally not surprised.
I would be curious to know what his justification is about why his tattoos are okay.
I'd like to know what he has to say about it, but apparently he doesn't have much to say about anything. I doubt we're going to get an answer.
Well, I don't understand. Was there like some kind of philosophical like?
There is. You're not supposed to mark your body. You're supposed to keep it a holy temple. It's supposed to be in praise of the Lord. You know all that stuff.
Well, I'm just wondering if somebody gave a lecture about morality at the Grammys and that.
I don't know. They should have. They could have. They could have. Maybe he missed that part. Maybe he showed up late.
Well, like I said, I didn't watch the Grammys, so I don't know if there was like Cardi B was giving a lecture on philosophy.
No, if she was, it was somewhere lost in the moves. I have no idea. I don't know how he's tying this all in. I can't wait to find out.
Let's keep going.
Really? It's happening right now. It's been happening in America for the last few years like crazy, right? Especially the last 5 years, especially during the last year. Woe to those. Why would anybody ever call evil good and good evil? It's simple. Because they just redefine the terms. The question is, who is going to define?
No, you just asked, you answered it with something completely, you said, why do people do this? And then you said, it's simple, they just redefine the terms. That's not right. Why. You asked, why did they do this? You didn't answer why, you just described what they did. That's not an answer to why they do this. Why is about motivation. What is the reasoning behind doing the thing that they're doing? And then if you only describe that, oh, well, that's simple, they just redefine the terms. So you're making a semantic argument about the question you didn't ask.
I guess he's just swapping it out.
This is a straight bait and switch. I mean, there are reasons why people might consider something evil now that didn't used to be considered evil. It's the same with the other way around. Something that was considered good or virtuous is no longer considered good or virtuous.
Yeah, but in those situations, you wouldn't use terms like swap out or interchangeable. You would go with the changing opinion and moving along in your thought pattern and additional information
it's
to change.
Social evolution.
I mean, yeah, something like that. Not swap, interchangeable and just put that one over there and this one over there. Yeah.
This is so bizarre because it's like I'm not a fan of the song. I'm not a fan of the artist, but at the same time, like, doesn't mean that she's not allowed to make whatever art she wants, and if people like it, they're allowed to buy it.
And obviously, she's on the Grammys. I mean, and it's for whatever reason, it's very popular. It's there. She has every right to do it, and I still haven't heard what his issue is.
Well, maybe that's his point. Maybe he's like, these are things that wouldn't have been or shouldn't be popular because they're overdoing it. But I mean, music has been like that forever.
Right, it's the edge. It's like what becomes the most popular is something that's new, something that's different, something I haven't heard before. I mean, for me, it's always the something else, you know, not the same old, you know.
Yeah, there's some music I like that's new, and some music I don't like that's new, and some music I like that's old, and some music I don't like. But, like, you want to talk about sex and music, have you heard, like, the 80s and 90s?
Yeah, like, he's not, like, I can't. They go together, apparently just not for him, and I'd like to know why. I need to know why.
Yeah, that's the question, right? The answer is like, if he's saying that this is too far,
but he has a band, right? I think I have it. They didn't ask him to perform with them. That's it.
Oh, that's not.
It's an age-old story. That's
Cardi B brought to you by Skillet, the crossover of the century. I'd probably watch that, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. I really want to know what his issue is. I'm waiting for him to tell me. He won't tell us. He's hiding it from us.
Define what is good and who is going to define what is evil. Every dictator in history says that what they were doing was good. That's what they believe.
All right, I need to click it back because we just jumped to dictators. So hold up.
Because they just redefine the terms. The question is, who is really? It's happening right now. It's been happening in America for the last few years like crazy, right? Especially the last 5 years, especially during the last year. Why would anybody ever
So during
call
the
evil
Trump
good
administration,
and good
we've got
evil?
closer
It's
to dictatorships?
simple. Because they just redefine the terms. The question is, who is going to define what is good and who is going to define what is evil? Every dictator in history says that what they were doing was good. That's what they believe. You go back and you read some of Hitler's speeches. He's like, I'm going to set people free from the bondage of the Ten Commandments. In his mind, he's a liberator. It's always...
PSA, I'm going to just take this moment to make you guys aware. Hitler was Catholic. Moving on, thank you.
Uh-huh.
It's like that, you guys. All you do is you just redefine evil and you redefine good. That's what's happening right now on the Grammys.
Is he talking about justification?
Now, I know there are people going, John, some of my woke friends, John, you're making a big deal about nothing.
Yeah,
John, you
always
are.
been over-sexualized.
John, you
yes,
are.
okay.
Listen to your woke friends.
Of course, Grammys have always been over-sexualized. Music has always been over-sexualized. Hollywood's always been over-sexualized. Two differences,
yes.
and they matter. Number one,
okay.
This is just a step beyond what we've seen. That's all. I mean, you're right. It has always been.
It is?
Fine.
We are
What
right.
about it?
Thank
This
you,
is
John.
pretty overt,
okay.
all right? This is pretty over-the-top
Sanity
stuff.
has entered the
But the
street.
biggest difference that is not the same is that when 20 years ago when Madonna did it, in fact, Madonna was really pushed into stardom from a performance like this. I can't remember.
I think he doesn't know what 20 years ago was anymore. I do that same thing though, so I can't really complain. So his first problem seems to be that this performance has gone too far.
And his woke friends get it, but don't get it. Yeah.
He gets his woke friends, but also they also get him but don't get it. It's a whole lot of everybody gets it but nobody gets it.
I think we might be getting to the issue.
I don't know, because
maybe
has
it's
anybody
he didn't
here
get it. I don't know. It could be that he didn't get it.
Has anybody here heard the song "Rock You Like a Hurricane"?
Yes.
Or perhaps maybe there was a Guns N' Roses one, Paradise City.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That are all just about sex.
I could throw album after album after album after album.
Ever heard the song "Slither" by Velvet Revolver?
I think maybe Mr. Cooper needs to hear. But...
Bon Jovi had an entire album called "Slippery When Wet."
All right, moving along.
I'm just saying. I looked up Madonna real quick when I was watching
glad
this.
I put my wetsuit on for this, girl, because you kill him.
I pulled up Madonna, and I think the one he's talking about is this wardrobe malfunction from 1984, which I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it is 2021. This is far more than 20 years ago.
It wasn't even that bad. It wasn't even. Oh my god.
Okay, so some might have stopped singing, some might have bent down and fixed their stiletto and moved on. Not Madonna. When her heel slipped off during the very first live performance of "Like a Virgin" at the inaugural MTV Video Music Awards, Madonna responded by squirming on the stage floor in a wedding dress. To the crowd, Madonna appeared as if she was a woman losing her virginity on a wedding night on the stage floor, and to aghast critics, this stunt signaled the end of her then nascent career. They couldn't have been more wrong, and this is roundly considered the moment Madonna became a global superstar. Her ad-lib VMAs performance signaled the start of a trend, Madonna doing something wild and unexpected, and then watching nonchalantly as her fame reached a higher elation. She also took the VMAs to new heights, cementing MTV's legacy as the place of provocation. So this is what I think he's talking about. Because like he talks about how like this rocketed Madonna, right? So this this I think this is the one he's talking about. 20 years ago though, in 1984.
Yep. There's this one with Madonna, and then there's like one of the music awards with Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson.
Oh, that wasn't the awards. That was the,
that was the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Right?
Yeah, that was like a straight up accidental like wardrobe malfunction in that case. So I guess it was in this case too. But I don't think if this is the one he's talking about, and the current year is 2021, then 20 years ago was in the 2000s. And 1984 was another 20 years before that. And I don't mean to make John Cooper from Skillet feel old. But
he should at this point. If that's like 40 years ago, like
guys,
if that's your only reference,
guys, the 80s was 40 years ago. Feel bad.
I feel bad.
All right, let's keep going. I just because I thought it was important to talk about what it was he was referring to say that, well, Madonna worming around on the floor like she's having an orgasm during her wedding night is more sexually explicit or less is less sexually explicit than this Grammy performance, I guess.
I don't know. At least you know the reference. I'm gonna go back to the video, and I don't even think he knows actually for what.
Maybe I went hunting. I did go out of my way to look. Like I tried to find out what he was talking about. I think this is. I don't know for sure this is what he was talking about. I mean, for all I know, he's talking about kissing Britney Spears. But I mean, I guess. I guess a kiss between women is considered less explicit when it's these two lips instead of these two lips.
Yeah.
I guess I agree with that.
I do agree with that. I agree with that.
I'm not sure that's what he's trying to say, but I mean, if that is what he's trying to say.
If he is trying to say that, he's doing a really bad job of it. You did a much better job of it right there than he's doing.
Well, he's clearly saying that when Madonna did it, it wasn't as bad as when Cardi B did it. But he hasn't said why.
No, he's not.
He's just saying that this is way more over the top, and it's like, I mean, I guess they have way more access to like a bajillion different things, and maybe people are a little bit less sexually repressed as they were in the 80s. Maybe, I don't know. I'd have to look into that. But I'm not, the thing is I'm just very confused about what this person is actually trying to say, because I don't know if they know what they're trying to say.
I don't either, and I don't even think he watched the performance at this point. I don't even think he saw it.
Aw.
I mean, he's really he's disappointing me.
I kind of wish I pulled up the performance and watched it ahead of time, because I definitely didn't. Let's keep going.
Okay.
If it was Grammys or was it MTV Awards, I don't really remember.
Yeah,
MTV.
MTV.
I watched a documentary on it a few years ago on Netflix. Can't remember what it was. One of those things, she did this performance in which she was simulating self-sex on rolling all around on the stage. The difference was this.
Yeah, you caught it.
Nobody said that she was virtuous for doing it. That's
they
a
did.
major difference, you guys.
She was playing
doing
a
it
virgin.
because it was a climate of just hedonism. It was a climate of sex, drugs, rock and roll. That's the motto of my generation and the generation before me. Sex.
The motto of the generation was sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And so it was not as bad then because people didn't think sex, drugs, and rock and roll were good, even though it was the motto of the what?
And wasn't that the whole platform at MTV? Like that the platform at the time? Like they
I don't understand. I'm gonna keep going because like maybe he's got maybe he's gonna be more illicit or explicit about what he's saying. I do like his beard though. I'll give him that much. He's got a baller beard.
He does. It could be groomed better. I mean, it's a little shaggy.
Drugs,
I'm not giving him
rock
any
and
grace.
roll. It's a rebellion. It's
was COVID times though.
Against
scissors
Christian
and COVID
values,
do exist.
traditional
Sorry.
values,
Fucking self-groomed,
even
dude.
just Western values in general,
on.
right?
No
The
excuse.
family values. It was a revolt against traditional sexuality, but it wasn't because they were virtuous. Nobody looked at Madonna and was like, she's such a virtuous person. I really want my daughter to live this way. Nobody did that. That's the difference. Madonna was doing it, and
do you notice how like he talks like with such like admiration for like the sex, drugs, and rock and roll era, and then like comes back down from this high of remembrance back down to like but nobody wants it to be that way.
No, because he's just tying it back to those good old days, those like Christian rock hard Skillet days, you know. Which I can't understand what he's trying to say about WAP in regards to that at all.
Yeah, I'm confused. I also still don't know what the Hitler has to do with any of this.
getting famous because she was courageous and brave to do something that was like shock rock.
Yeah, she was. She did, absolutely.
Just shock rock. Now it's like, yeah, we're redefining what virtuous is. So we're taking paganism, and we're not just saying, yeah, I'm going to get famous because I'm willing to be into paganism and hedonism and idolatry and sexual degradation and this and the other. No, we're saying I'm doing all those things because I know what virtue is. I know what morality is. I define morality.
So it's fine to be a pagan because you're a pagan, but it's not okay to say I'm a pagan and virtuous about it? What?
A virtuous pagan? He's full of these I can't. Oxymorons. I'm language offended at this point. I can't. I just like I'm stopped. I'm actually stumped.
Yeah, I think we're at the point where he's completely lost the train of thought, where it's like, oh, it's okay to be a pagan, and it's okay to be a sexual deviant or degradation towards sexuality and traditional values, as long as you don't redefine it as those things are okay.
So
why would you do them if you didn't think they were okay?
At this point, I don't even know if he knows what his point was. I hope he wrote it down and he gets back to it.
I think there might be some confusion going on about why is it not. We have to break down right to the very beginning. These people are redefining what it means to be virtuous, and that's a bad thing. Okay, why? Excluding what they're doing, ignore whatever it is that they're trying to change from being virtuous to not being virtuous. Why is it not okay to change what is and is not virtuous, for one? Then, two, you can start describing what it is they're doing, and well, maybe it's okay in some ways, and in other ways it's not okay. Well, what are those conditions? Philosophy.
I don't think he can. I don't think he can.
There's a lot of word salad here, methinks.
And I can't even put it in its little dishes. I'm telling you, I cannot. I cannot.
That is what it means to call evil good and good evil. So this is you guys, this is a really silly example to prove a larger point. There are so many woke Christians out there, liberal Christians, my progressive Christian friends, literally struggling every week. Every week there's a new social argument. I don't care what it's about. Critical race theory, just race stuff in general, BLM, marching with BLM, Meghan Markle. Look, if you go on Twitter and say that you don't like the Meghan Markle interview with Oprah, well, you just might get canceled. The famous Susan Osborne got canceled. Famous people are getting canceled for holding the wrong views on this stuff, okay? And there are a lot of Christians struggling. They're going, well, maybe historical Christianity, maybe that's not right. Maybe it's just mean. Maybe there's a...
Yeah, I would probably agree with God saying kill all the Gentiles was probably not right.
Yeah.
I might go out on a limb there and say genocide bad.
Yeah. I would back you up on that. I would say that, yeah, that's probably in there. Genocide bad. Definitely.
What does historical Christianity mean to this person? Is he talking like the 50s? Or is he talking like, where are you when you say historical? What point? You're quoting from Isaiah. What point is historical Christianity to you?
An old book he didn't read.
Oh, it feels bad. Oh, well, I mean, we know he read that one part, right?
No, I think he read that on Facebook.
He didn't actually crack a Bible. He just got like, no. This is the daily daily Bible verse.
No, you don't get this far off if you've actually read a word. No.
The devotional. He's got a daily devotional alert on his computer, on his Facebook that he's subscribed to.
It's all coming from the calendar, and he's a few pages behind. There you go.
Oh,
that's
no.
it. You just figured it out.
I would actually absolutely 100% love to actually bring this guy on and actually ask him questions about this. Like, can you please tell me what... I'll go onto his show. I don't care. I want to talk to this guy and be like, I don't understand what you're saying. Can you please explain to me what it is that you're saying?
Let's write letters.
I'm not...
We need answers. I can't leave this alone. We need answers. He's not giving us anything. Like, I'm more confused than when I read the first thing that you gave me. It's getting worse. You cannot leave me like this. You need to contact him. I cannot stay like this.
And like you guys have seen me on other channels. I'm not against Christianity. I'm not against your beliefs. But if you're going to expound upon your beliefs and say that other people ought to believe you, I need to understand what it is you're actually trying to tell. I might agree with John Cooper. Maybe. I don't know. Because I don't know what he's saying.
There's a big if there. First we need to know what John Cooper is actually saying. Because right now we have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know about we. You seem to have a little better understanding of this than I do right now. I have no idea.
I'm trying really hard.
What this is he's trying to tell me. I don't see a point. I don't see a fact. I don't even see a damn statement yet. I'm
hearing woke culture bad. I think that's all I'm hearing. And Hitler. Cause Hitler.
And Hitler. Like, you don't just get to say the word Hitler and make a point. Like, the word Hitler by itself, it does have a connotation, but it's not a point. Like, what are you saying, Cooper? You can't just say Hitler and it's supposed to mean something in regards to the Grammys. Like,
I should specify for Smitty, because Smitty's like, I'm against Christianity, how are you not? Okay, I'll specify. I'm not against somebody holding whatever beliefs they do or do not have in Christianity. Your belief system is your belief system. The only thing I'm not a big fan of is when people are inconsistent in their belief systems. I'm not really against it, I'm just not a fan of it. So if you're gonna go on and expound some nonsense and you're only gonna expound it over here but not apply it over here, yeah, I'm gonna have questions for you.
Right.
I am not a fan of, like, the religious institutions that come, like, the baggage that comes with Christianity. Christianity's got a whole lot of baggage that comes along with it, and I think it would benefit Christians to dump a lot of that baggage.
Right. And you're not trying to tell them how to be or what to do or what to believe. You're just saying what you believe and giving them the right to...
Yeah, you want to believe Jesus is God and God is Jesus and there's a spirit, and if somehow figure out how the Trinity works. I don't know how it works, but I'm not gonna say that you can't have those things. I am gonna question you when you're like, due to my Christian beliefs, Cardi B is a bad person. Why? What did she do? Yeah. That's any of your business.
I don't know. At this point, I don't know. I'm hoping that it gets better.
I would have a better understanding if he was coming from, like, an artist perspective and saying, like, if you, as an artist, if you go too far, too often into the line of extreme, you run out of places to go. And it could be problematic if you're using your art to push negative ideals. In which case, he could be like, listen, I don't think women should be having sex with each other. And so I don't think that's a good idea to normalize in society, and doing so in music and performances is bad for society. And then you can have that conversation. I wouldn't agree with you, but at least I would understand what point you're making.
Exactly.
Let's keep going.
The middle ground that we can have with the world. No. There is no middle ground. There is no peace with the world. Why? Because the world has redefined what being good is. They've redefined what evil is. This ain't 1980,
in regards
1990.
To what?
Meaning when we still had kind of a worldview that was semi-believed in traditional values of Judeo-Christian ethics and morality.
I think that this guy missed the grunge era.
He is depressed about that.
So,
it's
okay,
oozing out of him.
I don't think... Okay, hold on. The Skillet, the band, as far as I recall their music being like, is a hard grunge rock sound. That's the sound that they use. That was a powerful sound in the 90s, which was like... Grunge was dark. Grunge was like...
Angst.
Yeah,
Grunge
it was
was
angsty.
angst.
It was violent sounding. It was... And, like, that's not to say, oh, it's violent, therefore it's encouraging people to commit violence. This was also, like, R&B took off in the late 80s, 90s. When you started getting the Dr. Dre's and the Eminems, and they're starting to ramp up a lot more into, again, more like, let's talk about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And it's like, so how can you possibly have a band that's built on top of these expectations and these standards of music while saying that Nirvana was following Judeo-Christian values, that Whitesnake and Guns N' Roses were following Judeo-Christian values? The fuck they were. Rock and punk is the point is being against the system.
Exactly. In general, I don't. He's got to get there. He's got to get there.
I don't understand. Maybe I just don't understand where he's coming from.
Oh, well, I'll say I don't. I totally don't understand where he's coming from.
I mean, I can kind of understand that he's wanting to approach this with his Christian values. So he is looking at the Grammys through his Christian lens and saying, hey, what's going on stage there is morally reprehensible. But he's not being very clear in what and why.
No, because occasionally he's sounding like it's okay, because we're just going to swap out the definitions and it's only the excessiveness.
Well, that's what I'm not understanding. Where has any definition been changed? I don't think there's been any definitions that's been changed. There's nobody being injured here.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, the only victim I can think of WAP has been Ben Shapiro's reputation. He's been trolled to hell and back about that.
Okay.
And I'm gonna call it victim blaming, but that's 100% his own fault.
Yep. I don't know.
All right, let's keep going.
You know, we didn't even believe it all that much then, but that was still kind of the norm. No. We're in the new morality now. We're in the,
The
new
new
morality that will
morality.
be defined by who
Look out.
intersectionality. So if you go on now and say Cardi B, I'll have people that will say John said Cardi B, whatever. Why? Because he's a misogynist and a racist. Why? Because you came out and spoke out against a strong, powerful, strong black woman. Now it's the power of intersectionality injected into the conversation of morality.
You know what this sounds like? Sounds like fragile white man.
I had another word for it, but you go right ahead. It's like yours is better. It won't get you demonetized.
So we've been talking about this for over an hour now, and I don't think we've mentioned anybody's skin color. I don't think
Nope.
I don't think his actual complaints about the performance have anything to do with skin color or even powerful women. I think it's
right.
I think his problem is sexuality.
Over sexuality apparently is his issue. I don't know.
And like
Lack of an invite, I don't. I mean, at this point.
I mean, there's a conversation you can have about that and say like, hey, listen, I don't think it's okay to be sexually explicit at something like the Grammys, because he's not complaining about the music video. He's only complaining about the Grammys.
No, he's saying it's all about sex and drugs and rock and roll and the whole thing, and that's cool, and this is okay, and that's okay, but not this. Like, why not this? I need to know, Mr. Cooper. I need to know why not this.
You could have just sounds like fragility. I would have said, what does him being a white man have anything to do with it? That's his complaint. His complaint is that he's a white man, and so he's going to get pulled apart because he's speaking out against a black woman. That's what he just said.
That's such a cop-out. That's a lack of argument right there. That's a cop-out.
Well, I can understand the concern, but I would say that it's a frivolous concern. I can understand why you might be worried about that given Twitter's cancel culture climate, right? But I think that because he didn't bring anything up about race until this point, and the fact that he didn't bring up anything about whether or not they
he brought up misogyny.
He brought up misogyny, yes. Right. He brought up being a man, and he brought up skin color. So he's worried because he is a white man that saying that he didn't like the performance of a black woman he was going to be pegged as a racist. And a misogynist. That's what he said. So if it sounds fragile to me. It sounds like you don't you're not confident in your position or your argument, or you have concerns that maybe you are, and you don't want to come across that way.
Like, I think thou protest too much, John. Like, why are you bringing it up? Like,
he's worried about backlash for something he didn't say until now, right?
Yeah.
He didn't,
and he's the one saying it, right?
And I don't think any of his I don't think any of his complaints are racist. They don't seem to be so far, at least. I mean, he hasn't said anything about that whatsoever. No, he doesn't seem. Yeah, and he doesn't seem to have, like, I'm not hearing any racial undertones or overtones. I see somebody being fragile and afraid of being canceled.
If you didn't know who Cardi B was, if you didn't have an image in your head, based on what he said already in this video, you would not know if she was white or black. And based on all he's talking about is the performance.
And you also wouldn't know what happened because he hasn't been very explicit about what he's talking about
what part of the performance really bothers him or what they've actually done to.
I think his issue is over sexuality. I'm not even convinced that his issue is that it was woman on women. I don't even think that's necessarily the case. Like, if I were to get into a conversation with him and kind of like try to nail him down on what his issue is, I think it's just the public nature of sexuality. I think I know where I'm going with this. I'll save it for the end, but I think I have it now. All right, let's keep going.
So how I would encourage Christians is say this. This is a silly, stupid microcosm. Anybody can look at this and say, yeah, that's actually not morality. But we are forced to applaud it. A society that is forced to applaud immorality and call it morality because of the forces of intersectionality.
Nobody made you go and watch
That's
it.
a society that is going to bring the judgment of God.
Well, that's what he was talking about with Hitler, right? Is that coming back to the Hitler thing? Because he was like, oh, you were forced to applaud and go along with immorality. And this is the same case as we are being forced to applaud and go along with what he considers immoral. Whatever that might be, because again, we don't really know what part he thinks is immoral, but I also don't see where are people being forced to applaud it.
Right.
Nobody tore your eyes open and said you have to watch the Grammys and it's the only thing on any channel that you could possibly watch while it's on.
I like, who forced him to watch it? Like, I don't.
I'm not. And who asked your opinion?
He's like, we forced you to watch it. You found it offensive. You're going to tell us all about it.
Well,
but
and when I say that,
a little offended that he's like talking as if no one had control of whether they watched it or not, and it's being forced upon us. Like, we're all just like sheep.
And you're forced to applaud it. I don't recall. I haven't even seen it.
Hey, nobody paid me. I didn't get my check in the mail to go applaud that. I don't know about any of you.
I don't know what is it's this you're being forced to applaud type thing that I don't understand. You clearly have a YouTube channel. You're clearly having your voice heard. People not agreeing with you isn't you getting canceled. That's people thinking you're full of crap. I don't, or they don't agree with you. And, like, that's welcome to putting your opinion out to the world. People are allowed to not agree with you. That's fine. People are probably going to lie about what you've said. That's a thing that happens regularly. So, like,
it's just it's assumptive narrative at this point. I'm losing it. I am.
It's this forced, you're forced to applaud this thing. And I don't, when I say, like, who asked your opinion, I mean specifically, who asked you to give an opinion where you were coerced or where there was a gun being held to your head where you had to say you liked it? You could have said nothing. Or you could have said
nothing, right?
It wasn't really for me.
Could have not watched.
You didn't have to bring Hitler into it.
Please, and if you're gonna bring Hitler into it, please explain. Please get there. Like, this is there's got to be more. There's got to be more.
A society that is just asking for the judgment of God, and He will be right to do so. We're a society
America's the new
that
Sodom and
deserves
Gomorrah.
the judgment of God. Why?
We are.
Because not only have we not adhered to His rules, not only have we not rebelled against His rules, we are now celebrating our rules as the new sovereign power in American life. It's pretty dark stuff, isn't
WAP
it?
rules? Did he just say WAP rules? WAP is ruling the whole country now. Like, WAP has changed society. WAP is the new standard. WAP is the new standard we all live by. Has he gone there?
Yeah.
Did he just go there? Did I just hear that?
I don't think that's what he meant, but that is what he said. Yes.
I did hear it correctly, right?
He said that this being a thing means that this is society now. This is the norm. This is what is acceptable, and this is like, we're gonna get the judgment from God because of WAP.
Okay.
Do you think he means just the song, or do you think he means in general? Like, anytime women get wet, it's just like, nope. End of society. Women are having a good time, not allowed.
That's a whole nother stream. Sign me up. But yeah, let's not go there now.
I don't get it. This dude has tattoos.
He does. But hey, we don't know what those tattoos are.
Your hypocrisy is showing.
How silly it is, the juxtaposition.
I agree.
Beyond what we're saying, that's all.
Whoa, we jumped backwards.
Powerful, strong black woman.
Double.
American life. It's pretty dark stuff, isn't it?
No.
It's also
it's not.
How silly it is, the juxtaposition of the fact that if you say anything about it, that the woke mob will come after you. You go on Twitter, you find the famous people that have come out and said that the Cardi B thing was over the top, right? That it was sexually immoral, or that was degradation of society.
Okay, don't say, oh, it was just the degradation of society. That's not like, oh, just a passive opinion.
Like, bro.
Whoa.
God
This
damn
is
it,
like,
Cardi
he's
B.
framing
Look
it
what
like...
she did. Oh
You-
my god.
You're framing it like, oh, you're not allowed to dislike it. And he's saying that dislike is the equivalent of saying it's the degradation of... Did you see that little hop, skip, and a jump he just did? I'm playing that again.
I this bit my tongue.
Oh, no. Okay, listen to this. Listen to this really carefully. He just does this lovely little hop, skip, and a jump across like from, oh, you're not allowed to have an opinion to this, and up until we're accusing you of being the degradation of society. Okay, let's go.
Thing about it that the woke mob will come after you. You go on Twitter. You find the famous people that have come out and said that the Cardi B thing was over the top, right? That it was...
Oh, it was over the top.
Sexually immoral.
It was immoral, sexually immoral. Jump.
Or that was degradation of society.
Or it's the degradation of society.
Oh lord.
Dude, I think you might have a false equivalence going on. Saying that you didn't really enjoy a performance and thinking that the performance is over the top is not the same thing as saying it was sexually immoral. And then getting mad when people ask you why.
I just you're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. He cannot. Like, this is you are punking me, right? There's no way that what
Listen,
came out there, that's not real. Well,
don't
I know
forget,
that's not reality.
this is all meant to be comic relief, guys.
Thank you for reminding me that, because my brain almost just exploded. God, if it wasn't for the comedic gold.
I'm sure calling somebody the degradation of society is definitely meant to be comic relief for an increasingly angry and stressed out world.
There you go. That's a 10. You get it, John. All right, you're funny, dude. Yeah, you're funny. Ha. Ha. Ha.
Bruh.
You know what, Jess? At this point, I can't waste a sentence on that.
This is a big bruh moment.
Bruh. Duh.
Inkboy for 2 said, I hope he has a tattoo of Leviticus 19:28.
He does on 1928. That was good. Now that's comedy. That was good.
Womp womp.
A real reference.
Whatever.
Womp womp.
The woke mob comes after them. How dare you speak out against a strong black woman? So now...
How dare you speak out against a strong black woman for saying that she is the degradation of society?
Like, it's got nothing to do. You're oh god.
Oh no.
Oh no. All his little boxes are collapsing right before our eyes.
I don't. It's the jump. How dare you? No, why? Can you give me one?
Exactly.
Give me
Why
one
dare
reason.
You? Why, John? Why?
Why is this an immoral sexual act? What about it? There was no sex happening. It was on stage.
And I sure didn't see Hitler up there. I don't know about you.
I didn't watch it. Maybe Hitler did show up.
They're injecting the race argument into what is really an argument about like sexual morality and what should be decent in society. So it is the very same woke mob that says that Dr. Seuss books are indecent to even go and buy, but they are also saying that it is indecent for me not to applaud Cardi B.
I want to see all these tweets that said you have to applaud Cardi B.
Yeah, I didn't get one.
I don't know. I didn't hear about this.
Did you get one? I didn't get one. Did you?
No,
get
I didn't get one.
Anybody else get a tweet in the chat? No, I didn't. No.
Woe to those who call evil good and good evil. Could we ever live in a time like that? We're living in it right now. Do not feel confused when every
Yeah, you're calling something evil without explaining why it's evil. I think that is the definition of the thing that you're talking about, isn't it?
I don't think he knows. I seriously don't think he knows.
I want to talk to him.
You should talk to him.
John Cooper, singer, lead frontman of Skillet. Please come on to Caffeine Corner.
Yeah. Let's write some letters.
We have some philosophy to do.
We're writing bullet points. We have questions. Bring Hitler, please.
And I'm concerned about your
got a psychological problem with women.
Psychological problem with the women.
You could have played that out every third word here.
Oof. Oof.
I think we might be getting
you
to
start
the
pulling and it's the emotional arguments from the world, and I don't know what I should do, and maybe they're right. They're not right. There will be no commonality between the righteousness that the Bible talks about, what the Bible
he actually did have a Bible,
and what the Bible says is evil. There's not going to
Too bad he hasn't
Okay,
read
so at this point, we know for a fact that he actually does own a Bible, and that he did read that little clip from it. Now, that does to say... that doesn't say one way or another about where he got the initial thing from. Like, whether or not he had, like, a daily devotional that was on Facebook, and he was like, oh, that matches really well with this thing. I don't know. I'm just teasing.
going to be any commonality with the world any longer. Why?
He's holding up his Bible with his tattooed hand.
Because the world has redefined it, and they believe that their way is actually more virtuous. It's different than it used to be. It's not just rebellion, it is redefining.
Oh, so it was okay when it was rebellion, but now it's not rebellion anymore. I think? Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't think rebellion. I don't know. Let's see.
I hope this helps you. I hope it encourages you. I hope it makes it plainer to see. The next time one of those things happens, I want you to say, I remember Cooper stuff told me. Just think of Cardi B. They actually think that this is virtuous. They actually believe that this is good and should be celebrated. These are people that should not be telling you how to live. Don't let them.
Exactly.
Peace.
Don't listen to Cooper.
Read the Bible.
Cooper stuff!
Read the Bible.
Holy shit. What the heck was that? Like,
this is a little ending bit.
He told
Don't
me
forget to buy
nothing.
my new book.
Oh yeah, and buy his book.
Do you think the Hitler analogy is in there? Is that where we're gonna find the answer?
Man, I don't know. So, okay. So up here, he did say, well, we saw here that he did he did an update, right? He's attempted to clarify his comments. So, you guys remember what he said about Hitler, right? Like, Hitler propaganda.
But did that clarify anything for you, Tesh? Like, anything?
Oh, I have no idea what I have no idea what this man is talking about.
It clarified some things for me about him, maybe, a little. But about the statement he made? Like, did he even bring up the statement he made in any of that? Like,
No, that was the statement he made. This was the original. This is what he said originally, so this is the one that's got the, let me turn on closed captioning.
Yanked down from all the bookstores and stuff like that. It's just too much. It's too evil. People, right? You're actually not nice. This is the perfect example, you guys. Let me read you a scripture you all know. Evil. That's it. There's your Bible lesson for the day. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil. I don't think that would ever really happen. Really? It's happening right now. It's been happening in America for the last few years like crazy, right? Especially the last 5 years, especially during the last year. Woe to those. Why would anybody ever call evil good and good evil? It's simple. Because they just redefine the terms. The question is, who is going to define what is good and who is going to define what is evil? Every dictator in history says that what they were doing was good. That's what they believe. You go back and you read some of Hitler's speeches. He's like, I'm going to set people free from the bondage.
So he's saying that's the clip that he's saying about Hitler and comparing it to Cardi B. He's saying that Cardi B's performance is redefining good and evil the same way Hitler was doing it in his speeches.
Okay.
Helios for 5 said, this guy is mad he can't make a WAP and can't tell the difference between how dare you and how dumb are you. He is a religious snowflake.
Word. Thank
Word.
you. Exactly. Word.
Word
He's
feels
got
bad.
it. No, I'm sorry. I don't feel bad. Except for the headache.
We might have gotten a little bit of a buffer, so I'm gonna give it a second to catch up.
Okay. All right.
Oh, we still got audio. It's just the visual decided to like eat it, I guess.
Oh,
so at least you guys were able to hear what he was saying. We'll give it a second.
I'm more confused, Chesh. I don't know about you, but I thought that would clarify some of it for me, but I still don't get it. I mean,
you
the
thought
only reference
wrong.
just redefining the switching around the evil and the good, like Hitler did. That was the only part. But how does that define WAP? Like, how did they do that by performing WAP? I don't get it.
That's something to do with how it was okay, like, because Hitler framed it something that was morally reprehensible as being virtuous and an okay thing to do. Cardi B is framing something that is sexually immoral as an okay thing to do and redefining it as something that would be considered evil is now good. If I understand what he's... I think that's what he's trying to say. It's still not a very apt comparison. It's apples and oranges.
It is apples and oranges, not without him saying, like, what part of Hitler's, context there is he actually referring to, and exactly what part of WAP is he saying is the more...
I'm not even sure he's talking about the song. He's talking about the performance, right? So he's saying that because the performance was sexually immoral, they're saying that, oh, because you're forced to applaud it, you're saying that it's a virtuous thing to do. Just like the way Hitler said that it was okay and virtuous to murder people.
I have issue with this terminology.
Oh, yeah.
What could they have possibly done on a public stage, or even faked it or inferred, or as a entertainment act? What could they possibly done that would have been that reprehensible, like immorally reprehensible? I mean, it's out on stage.
Timo makes a decent point and also says, beyond Hitler, he compared her to every dictator in history. Why is it only her? Why isn't it the news station? Why isn't it the people running the Grammys? Why is it just her as the performer?
Because he's got an issue with wet women, Josh.
It's a psychological problem with women. All right, I'm going to let chat vote on this. You guys let me know how many Trigglypuffs this guy's at. What level what level is this Trigglypuff?
Oh, he hurt my head. Am I allowed to vote too? Because I'll just kill the chat. I'll just spam that button from here.
Do you have it on like a macro?
I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to actually vote this one out. But
all right, so let's see his correction, because he decided to say that I didn't compare Cardi B to Hitler.
He didn't?
That's what he says.
Well, he compared the act that she did and the performance at the Grammys to being like what Hitler did he not? In the first part of the video that you just played me back for clarification?
I think so, but let's skip the article. Let's not see what somebody else has to say. Let's just see what he has to say, and then go back and look at the article.
Oh my God! How dare we use his own words?
How dare you hurt my feelings with the truth and facts, things that are factual.
Don't use my own words. Okay, go ahead. I'm ready.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Cooper Stuff. 5-minute talk, I hope. Okay, so yesterday in my podcast, I reacted to Cardi B's performance at the Grammys, and it has come to my attention that some of my words were misrepresented and taken out of context from...
Misrepresented and taken out of context. So, from what we read in this article and what we saw here, you can tell me if it's taken out of context or misrepresented. I think that it's possible that he was... I'll give him this. I think that it's possible that he was unclear to a level that people understood it to mean something that he didn't necessarily mean, but I think that's on him for being so unclear.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Yeah,
that
he owns his words. Yeah, I get it. Because he has not made a complete statement or a full sentence that I can see with.
his point is not exactly what I would call cogent.
Clear, exist, all that. I'm yet to see his point.
Yeah.
And taken out of context from their intent. So please allow me to say this.
Like,
I did not compare Cardi B to Hitler, and I did not
You
compare her performance to Hitler or any other dictator, and I certainly didn't compare the Grammys or the music industry or any.
why did you mention Hitler, sir?
I'm just gonna clip this right back here and just catch again what he did say.
Actually, during the last year, why would anybody ever call evil good and good evil? It's simple, because they just redefine the terms. The question is, who is going to define what is good and who is going to define what is evil? Every dictator in history says that what they were doing was good. That's what they believe. You go back and you read some of Hitler's speeches. He's like, I'm going to set people free from the bondage of the Ten Commandments. In his mind, he's a liberator. It's always like that.
Oh,
all you do is you just redefine evil and you redefine good. That's what's happening right now on the Grammys.
That's what's happening right now on the Grammys.
I get it now. Hitler is the liberator, as Cardi B is a sexual liberator of the people and mind controlling us. There it is. Okay.
Silly. I know there are people going, John.
I don't know if you can say this is what Hitler did and this is what's happening on the Grammys and say you weren't comparing them together.
I don't know, but it's the only thing that makes sense at this point. Is it because they're liberating? It's sexual liberation on the stage. I don't understand what you mean.
Let's keep going and see if he clarifies any further. Right now, he's just denying that he did that. So
you have such high hopes for him.
Maybe he's going to be like, you know what, Hitler was a bad comparison. That's not what I meant. Let's see what he says.
Other artists for any reason to any dictator. And secondly, I want to say this: I did not conflate the consequences or the gravity of the Cardi B's performance at the Grammys. I in no way would ever conflate that to the horrors of the genocide that we saw in 1940 or
Okay, I think I agree with that. I don't think he made a comparison to genocide.
About. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll give him that.
I think there's a difference between talking about the propaganda and tactics versus
it was obvious.
Outcome.
It was obvious he was referring to the propaganda, the speech, and not the genocide.
Yeah. I think we can get on board with that. So we'll give you that one. We'll give you that one, John.
One for John.
We got you there. First thing he said that I understand.
Any of the other violence and murders and all the death and destruction of any dictator that we've had in history. I honestly don't understand how it could be taken that way, but just to be clear and clear up any confusion, I was stating that we are living in a time when it comes to morality where we are redefining what is good and what is evil. Sometimes we have a hard time imagining that someone would do something bad, and
you used Hitler as a comparison.
I don't know.
Redefine it and call it good. That's why I was pointing out that there have been many examples of dictators or horrific events over the last 100 years where people did really bad stuff, but they believed or claimed that they were doing it for good reasons.
Holy shit! So he just said I wasn't comparing it to the genocide or anything right then, and then just compared it to the genocide and everything right then.
Yeah, you see, we gave him too much rope. We gave
Damn
him too much
it!
grace. Point taken back, John. You're now
zero. No!
0. Poor John. Not gonna do it.
He went from, oh, I didn't make this comparison that I made, to I also wasn't comparing it to the horrific events by like that.
Here it is.
But I'm also going to say that here's all these horrific events that are good examples, just like this is a good example. That is you comparing those things. Oh, okay.
For moral reasons, for liberating reasons. And as an example of that, I was saying if you were to go back and read some of Hitler's speeches, you will find that he claims to believe that he was liberating people and doing something virtuous. This in no way.
At the end of the day, part of the problem... let's take his hypothetical. I'm taking off of his hypothetical. It's possible that Hitler could have been liberating some people.
Some people.
Okay. While also committing genocide.
2 million. Okay.
So the thing is that stuff like actions like that are not mutually exclusive. You could be a suicide bomber, but also adopt children.
You know what's really starting to worry me here is that he keeps trying to make this comparison. Like,
he's doubling down.
Why is this so important? He's doubling down. It's not working. It has nothing to do with it. It's making him look worse, and it's bringing up all of these questions on where his belief about this actually is. Like, it's almost as if his words are not actually portraying what he means. All his references mean totally something else than what he's actually saying.
I'm telling you, let me help you. Help me to help you. Come and talk to me. Come on to like Caffeine Corner or Non Sequitur Show once we get it back. Come and talk to me, and we will sit down and we will suss out exactly what you're trying to say. If I could do it with Gary, I can do it with you. I believe we can get through this together.
Man. You are a better woman than I, for sure. I could not.
Well, at this point, I'm really curious about what he thinks, because he's clearly having a hard time explaining or communicating what he's trying to say.
Obviously, because it's all over the place. There's nothing in there I can pull out to even try to say, well, this is what he's saying, or that is what he's saying. Because every time I think I have it, he just says something completely opposite to take
I think he's trying to say a couple of different things, but I think that might be because he hasn't actually nailed down his idea of what is moral and isn't, or is allowed and isn't, is kind of nebulous, and because that's nebulous, it's causing like a trickle effect of not being clear.
I don't even think he knows what he's trying to say.
I think maybe not.
I don't think you could do it this bad. I don't think if you were trying, if you were actually trying, I don't think you could do it this bad.
I'm trying to give him as much credit as I can, and I think that I think his personal understanding of what he thinks is morally reprehensible in that video is
Does he understand what he thinks is morally...
that's what I'm saying.
He does not.
I don't think he does.
He's trying to make a point about something he himself does not even understand. Why is he up here talking to us, trying to get us, convince us about something that he himself has not wrapped his brain around and thought through?
Being hardcore Christian really breaks one's mind, doesn't it? I feel Christianity is like Stockholm Syndrome. In some ways, it can be likened to that. I honestly think that he's got such a visceral reaction to whatever it was that he thinks he saw on stage, that he's like, no, this is bad. And what else is bad?
You know what? All right. I'm gonna have to go there. It wasn't a mental thing. It obviously was not a mental thing that affected him. I think he's having a reaction. I really do, and I think he's offended by it. I think he wasn't ready for it, whatever the reason be. But to try to make a point about it on some intellectual level, like he's got something to say when it has nothing to do with it, I'm lost. I'm absolutely lost.
I'm not one to discourage people from getting into philosophy and epistemology and trying to suss out what it is they believe and why, but you're gonna have a really hard time explaining to people why something is wrong when you only understand it as it made you. It feels like it's wrong to you.
It made you feel wrong. Like you had a reaction to it. Like you feel that it's wrong, but you. You can't just come out there and say it's
right. If you don't understand why, and you can't put that into words, then you're going to have a really, really hard time trying to explain to other people. That's how you end up with stuff like this. I earnestly do not.
That's how you end up with comedy gold on Chess's
right? I earnestly believe that this man is trying to. He's not trying to say that this performance is as bad as the Holocaust. But
he is, and yet he does.
But yet he does.
And yet he does.
And yet he does. Do I think that's what he's trying to do? No.
I don't know. I have no idea what his intent was. I'm pretty sure it just went off the rails. But
I'm sure, just like Hitler, he claims to have good intentions.
Right. I'm here for the people. Like, I'm trying to help the people. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying to help you. But Chesh, do you really think at this point, now that this is out there, that he actually thinks he made a point?
I think maybe. I think that he's gonna get stuck in a loop, though. The fact that he's doubling down here tells me that I think if people lash out at him the way that they tend to do on Twitter, that he'll feel pigeonholed into a corner where he has to then eventually come out and say, like, yeah, Cardi B is basically Hitler.
I can't.
I earnestly want to reach out to this guy and be like,
no, let's write letters. I'm all for it. Just,
come to me. Let me help you.
I will surely have my butt in the chat, man. I'm not gonna.
And I certainly don't mean this in any kind of condescending way. I mean that I honestly think you're having trouble explaining what you mean, and we need to like pull this back like 6 or 7 steps. We need to pull this back to be like, you had a problem with this. What was your problem with it, and why?
Right.
Why do you have this problem?
I would give him a lot of credit if he would actually have that conversation. I would believe there's hope. But at this
that
point,
would be amazing if he was willing to come and have that conversation. We're not going to talk about whether or not God exists. We're not going to talk about.
No. We want to talk about the walk. Like, we want to know about things. Like, we want to talk about.
We can 100% even focus it around your ethical framework. We can focus the conversation around the ethical framework of the Bible. We can use that as like at least a starting point and be like, okay, well, in this verse it says this, therefore I think it's bad. Okay, well, this verse isn't talking about this particular thing, so why blah 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 blah. Or if it is societal degradation, if that's what it is, if this is bad for society, then it doesn't matter what the Bible says. You should be able to show that it's bad for society without needing the Bible part of it, because there'll be other indications, right? So, I mean, I'm totally happy to have this conversation. Come to me and let me help you. Help me help you. He's having trouble explaining what he means because he hasn't thought it out. Kind of, yes. That is kind of, yes, exactly what I'm saying. Correct, Smitty.
Yeah, he has not. He has, he should have wrote it down. He needs to wrote something down.
Yeah, he needs to suss out what his morals are and why. If you're going to say that something is morally not okay, you need to be able to first explain what your morals are and what your expectations are, and then why other people should use them.
and where this reaction that he's getting is coming from, and why he's putting such a broad connotation on this entertainment.
It is kind of grasping at straws a little bit, yeah.
It is, right. I mean, I would like to know why he's like, is that what he really thinks? That is the be all and end all, and that's what's going to end the world? Like that? Well, that's what's doing it, like, that's it.
I think it's interesting that he had a visceral reaction to something. So he reacted to it, and he did his video, and then people had a visceral reaction to him, and now he's cycling the toilet.
The way he keeps throwing the word evil around and switching things back and forth, and he wants to put such a large connotation on this performance, I don't know if visceral reaction is actually the right word. I want to think it's more I think he's definitely has a personal issue with it, and not a philosophical or issue with it. I think it's a bit personal at this point.
The thing
I think his world got rocked a little bit, Chesh. I really do. I really think he had some type of, maybe even a physical reaction to this performance that is bothering him. I can't understand where all of this is coming from if something like that didn't happen, because mentally he's not there giving us the answers to why he's thinking what he's thinking and saying what he's saying. So I don't think his brain was engaged.
I think part of the problem is that you're running into a situation where maybe he's not. I think he's being a little bit waffly. He's not committed to what he.
Yeah, that's the perfect term for it. Yeah,
he's not committed to his position because he's not confident, or he's not sure about what his position actually is. He thinks it's wrong, but he's not able to he doesn't know what the problem is. He just knows it's wrong, which isn't very productive. But I think you run into this situation where you're like, good and evil being presented as evil and good. What Cardi B is doing is evil. What Hitler did was evil. They're equivalent. No, they're not. One, those things are not equivalent. And he admits that, no, these things are not equivalent. That's not what I'm trying to say. But what he's trying to say is, like, you're taking something that is evil and framing it as something that is good. But the problem is when you break that down, it means he's saying that Cardi B's performance is evil.
Right. But he won't
masquerading as good.
That's what I mean. But he won't come out and say it, and that's what I mean. Like, he's like dancing around the whole thing. So what did he actually look at it and say, well, did he actually feel it was evil, or did he actually like it, or think that it's not so bad? But he wanted to frame it that way, and that's why he's having so much trouble.
Well, and he's afraid. He's afraid of the kickback. He's afraid of the canceling. He's afraid of, well, he's not allowed to say that because he's who he is. And so I don't know if the thing is there's one thing to say that something is something else. It's one thing to have a subjective opinion about something, to say, hey, listen, I didn't really like that performance. It wasn't for me. I thought it was over the top. It was too much for me. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But
but I don't.
If you're going to say it's evil, you're going to have to do a little bit more qualification and explain why.
Right.
Because now you're stating a fact about it. You're making a claim about it, not just an opinion. Right. That's
right. And acting like society and everybody that approves of this is saying that what happened on that stage was all good and wholesome and whatever, which is not really the statement that I think everybody is saying just by enjoying the music or the entertainment. They're just saying you have a right to do it.
I mean, he pretends that once upon a time there weren't, like, dancers that were illicit.
What? Like, Gotham and Florida? It's like, it's everywhere. It's always been.
Or is the problem that it's now too acceptable in public to have illicit dancers?
It has always been.
It was okay when it was hidden, but now it's too public?
But it has always been
weak.
Public.
Yep.
If he wants to read that Bible and source it, you can go right in there and see how public it was.
Right.
Way back. Yeah, more public than it is now. So
let's he's got 1 minute left. You want to see what he has to say?
No.
You want to see how deep he could get this hole he's digging himself?
Yes, please. Let's see how deep the hole gets. Yes, please.
Compared Cardi B to Hitler or any dictatorship of any kind, and it certainly wasn't conflating all of the evil things that have happened.
Except that's what you said.
The consequences of Cardi B's performance or any other performance.
What are the consequences of her performance?
A Grammy.
To make a point,
okay, go ahead.
And then using an unequivocal example from the past where someone has traded evil but called it good. So I'd like to end this.
He literally just said, I didn't do this, and then explained how that's what he was doing.
Explain how that's exactly what he did. Yeah. He's been what? Oh my god. We can't let this get out. Like, if certain YouTubers see this as a way to get things done, oh my god.
I wasn't doing this thing. I've never played Beat Saber on stream ever before. I don't know what you're talking about. But the other day I pulled up I was having a really hard time setting Beat Saber up to stream.
Here, hold my Beat Saber. I can't. Oh, dude, it just gets worse. I thought I was out, and y'all brought me right back in.
Brought you right back in.
This
right back
5-minute
in.
talk with the same ending that I used on yesterday's podcast. This Grammy performance is a very small microcosm. It might seem trite. It might seem a little bit petty. It's just a
not to you,
dude.
It did not
to show something that is a lot bigger. I'm actually not trying to blow this up into a crisis.
Yeah,
I'm actually
you're
saying
not.
We are in a crisis, but not.
You okay, I get that. You're using something that you consider, it's not really a big deal, but you think it's a good example. I can understand that. But when you bring Hitler into it and genocide, you kind of may be blowing things out of proportion.
Us, like, I want to know what oh God.
Philosophy.
That's all I have left.
Little 5-minute talk with the same ending that I used on yesterday's podcast. This Grammy performance is a very small microcosm. It may seem trite. It might seem a little bit
backpedaling usually results in a trip and fall.
To show something
that
is
the unsettling
a lot bigger.
of all of society.
I'm actually not trying to blow this up into a crisis. I'm actually saying we are in a crisis. But not because of the Grammys, and not because of Cardi B, and not because of a music performance or any other musician or artist or band.
I think this guy's just in a personal crisis. It's just gonna get worse.
I think his label called him and said, "You better backpedal." That's what I think.
Oh, maybe. Got to him pretty fast. This was the next day.
Yep.
That's not why we are in a crisis. And what is the crisis? The crisis is this. We are redefining what is moral and what is immoral, what is virtuous and what is not virtuous, and it is going to have devastating consequences for America. That's it.
Okay. All right. I think I can work with that. I think I can work at that. We are redefining good and evil and what is virtuous and isn't virtuous, and it's going to have devastating consequences. Okay. What is happening? Why is it happening? And why is it wrong? And what are the consequences?
Apparently, we gave a Grammy to Cardi B for a performance of
pop. And now God's gonna smite us all.
We're gonna get smited, and because he said so.
I didn't vote on that. This seems unfair.
I didn't vote on that either. I mean, I didn't even vote on the Grammy. You know, like I'm getting smited.
Maybe we'll get lucky, and only the Grammys will get smited.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what he says at the end.
Mr. Sirius says, I'm not in the same crisis that he's in.
I'm not either. I
agree.
Didn't think so anyway, I agree. I don't know what crisis he's referring to.
All right, last couple seconds. What does he got?
Peace out. See you soon.
Read the Bible.
Kill myself.
Maybe it's not a very good example to show a cop enforcing and telling people to read the Bible if you want freedoms instead of things being like.
Oh no!
I just noticed that irony of the. Hey, no, we don't want people to be telling us, and hey, no, degradation, and hey, no, we're being forced to have people to celebrate this, and then you've got a cop yelling at people to read the Bible in your outro.
Read the Bible.
Kill myself.
Why?
He's a walking paradox. I don't know. Like,
well, this is his podcast. He's got 26.9k subs. If you're interested in what he has to say,
if he actually said something, I could possibly be. But after that one, like, I don't know. I might give one more a shot.
Maybe if you follow him, maybe he's talked about stuff before that makes this a little bit, like, the context a little bit more understandable. If you have a better idea of, like, who he is as a person or what he's kind of said in the past, maybe it kind of links together.
Maybe once my tongue stops bleeding, I'll give it a shot. But I don't know.
He's got 59 episodes of Cooper stuff.
Are you kidding me? Like,
yeah, this one says 59.
Wow.
What he's talking about Nick Cannon and cancel culture and oh god, he's talking about Cuomo.
What? Oh,
yeah.
Well, okay.
Thoughts for the church, 10-minute talk. Christianity and politics.
That sounds painful.
Oh, that looks like it's probably trouble. I don't want to touch that one.
What? I was like, get off of, like, you can't see my eyes, but they were like, oh no, not that.
Sad day in America. I don't know. Apparently, I got some garbage to binge watch though, because now I want to know. Look, his beard got longer.
Yeah, but is he really going to tell you though, Chesh? That's the thing. I mean, based on
I
this
have
video,
to watch and find out. It's the ultimate plot hook. I can't say I'm a fan of the sticker-looking hat. Like, I'm not. I just don't like those hats, though. No offense. I'm just not. So yeah, if you guys want to go and see what this guy has to say about other stuff, I mean, he kind of didn't say. He kind of said.
Oh, I like
a
that
lot
one.
without
Is it
saying.
time
Anything?
to stop listening. You know, perhaps Cooper, if you don't like actually say something. Like, yeah, I think maybe.
Election. What now? Oh dear.
He actually dove into all that, huh? The election.
Sovereignty versus equity with special guest Dr. James White.
Mm-hmm. And speak freely while you still can.
Lies, lies, and more lies debunked. Ooh!
Why moral failures matter.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel kind of bad for him because he's at like the 5K mark. Like averaging, like there's 11, there's 3, there's 6, there's 14 on this one. But this one's got 31K. And I'm like, oh no.
Ooh,
that's
they're
his.
come for him.
That's the one. Well, that's. Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
They're coming for him. And it probably was a record label that caused the second video. Who knows?
I don't know. I don't know. See how this is. Yeah, Cooper Stuff is a podcast. He's got a playlist with 66 videos. So I don't know what this is, but there might be more. He's got. What else has he got? He's got no featured channels. Really? That's surprising. He's got a website, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all in the About section, so you can check him out if you want to go check him out.
I wonder what his Twitter's like. We're going to have to follow that. We're going to have to...
Oh, yeah, I mean, we can look. Do you want to see?
Yeah. I mean, is he this, like, contrary on Twitter? Does he, like, in the same tweet, does he change his mind? That's what I want to know. Like he does?
I don't know, but I'm going to follow him. He's got a check mark.
Oh, he's verified?
Damn!
Wow, damn.
Look at him.
Man.
Hot shit.
Go Cooper.
Yeah, okay. Way to go, dude. I respect the hustle.
Exactly.
Oh, so he's married to the one girl in the band, I guess.
I love that hair. That's like cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was the guitar player, wasn't she?
Apparently the band has a, yeah, cool. She's verified too, cool. All right. The band has its own Twitter too?
Yep. Rock. Oh yeah, they're going on tour, so if you guys want to see their drive-in tour, I guess that's a thing that's happening.
You know, it looks like most of his Twitter is about the band, and he's not doing... Whoop, maybe there. Oh, looking for book recommendations. The Great Thinker.
He did a video. Oh, see, he does interviews. Maybe he'll come talk to me. I just want to understand you, my dude. I just want to understand you.
I'll DM him for you, Chash. I'll write a letter for you. Okay.
Oh, well, I don't want to encourage people to talk to him and reach out to him for me, because that might be viewed as harassment.
No. Don't do it. Right. I was joking. It was a joke.
JK. Listen, I don't mind if people go and try to engage in conversation with somebody who's clearly engaging in conversation. Just don't be a douchebag.
Exactly.
Don't be rude. Try not to be overwhelming for the poor guy. I'm sure he's having a little bit of a hard time right now with this going on.
I would imagine if his DMs are open, they wouldn't be for long after that.
I don't think they are.
Yeah.
Nah. I mean, I don't blame him.
No, in the second one, you could see he was struggling a little to backtrack while still doubling down. which is fine art. I mean,
I don't even know if he was.
that.
Yeah, I think he. I earnestly think he's just having a hard time explaining what he actually meant, and I would love to have him on to help him clarify what he's trying to say, because I think I could actually help him with that.
I still have no idea. Like, except for that he thinks that there's something morally wrong with what happened at the Grammys. Like, with that, you know, why? I don't know.
And there would be a conversation you could have about that, right? You could talk about that. You could have that conversation and be like, okay, well, what was and why and what is the problem in comparison to this, or that? And I'm like, there's a conversation to be had there, right?
It was almost like he was trying not to insert himself into the conversation by using words like I felt when I saw this, or this represents to me, like, this is where I'm coming from it. Like, it was almost like he was talking so broad he kept himself out of the situation, and that might be the issue. Might be why he couldn't get his point across, because he didn't really feel comfortable doing it.
Yeah, usually if you've got something like that, maybe wait a couple of days and suss out how you actually feel about it.
Exactly. When you don't know, do nothing until you can formulate it a little bit better.
Or say you don't know. If you really feel like, if people are pressuring you, then just say, listen, I'm still thinking about it. I'm still processing. I'm not sure yet. That could be a cop-out if you've already, like, you know, decided to stick your ass in the playpen, but if you've already jumped in the mud pit and then you're covered in mud and you're like, well, you know, I'm not really sure if I like the mud pit or not. Well, you know.
Well, but at least in the second video, he could have put a hose on himself, but he didn't. He kind of, like, made it a little worse, because as he was trying to dig himself a little backwards out of it, he was, like, actually doubling down in some parts of it as he went. So
yeah, it's one of those situations where you're digging a hole, but when you're not throwing the dirt high enough so it's out of the hole, and you're just re-digging the same dirt.
It's going right back, you know, behind you, and you got, you're filling the hole back up as you go.
I'm gonna take a look and watch some more of this guy's stuff and see a little bit more about what he has to say. And you know what, maybe for Non Sequitur, or maybe on a Caffeine Corner episode, we can get him to come out and actually talk about what his philosophy is, because he seems interested in talking about it. So we should get out of here.
I wish you luck with that. I hope he does it. I would like to figure out what he was talking about, for sure.
What do you have going on for the next couple of days?
The next couple of days for me?
Yeah.
Tomorrow I have a conversation with Mr. Serious on my channel at 4. We're going to talk about using humor in tough situations like Cooper and things. But let's see how that goes. And that's it, I think, for the rest of the week.
Nice.
Great. How about you?
I will be back on Friday. I'll be having an interesting conversation. I kind of want to keep it a little bit of a surprise, but it's going to be like a little bit about racism. It'll be a little bit about just kind of what's with America and its race problem, because I'm Canadian and I don't really understand it the same way. So I
can understand that. It is a complex and confusing situation. As an American, I can say.
I personally, I because I'm not from the same place, I have a little bit of a hard time understanding some of the more nuanced stuff about it. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about that. We're going to be talking about, I think we might end up talking a little bit about the housing market also. Which is going to be interesting. And, like, because I guess there's, like, a good amount of racism that's gone on in that. In that sort of a situation. And we might actually end up talking about the conversation Matt Dillahunty was having that I had covered before, where the one woman had said maybe talking about racism in the way we do is overdoing it, and maybe we should stop talking about it as much or in the way that we do, because it's causing more problems. And so I've got another point of view brought on for that. So it's a lot. We'll probably cover a good number of things.
What time is this? I'm definitely going. We have a date. What time?
If I have to double check. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. Let me check my DMs, because I got Dr. Gadget coming on.
Ooh.
I'll put a link to her Twitter also, so you can go and check her out if you are interested.
I may even already follow that, but please put that in the chat.
The time is... There's the link in the chat. Boop doop boop 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 boop. Why do I not remember what time it was? I think it's 5:30 or 6:30 again. 5 p.m. 5 p.m. on Friday.
5 p.m. Okay, cool.
5 p.m. on a Friday. Here.
Here.
With that lady.
Yes. Be there.
Be there or be
a
square. And then me, you, and Karma will be back ASAP with the Johnny Depp stuff.
As soon as we can to do Johnny Depp with the update that's coming out tomorrow. I heard the judgment will be released tomorrow at 10 UK time, 6 a.m. our time.
Oof.
So we will know whether there is an actual possibility of an appeal or not.
All right, let's get out of here, guys, and try and not have a.
Got a psychological problem with women.
We'll see you guys next time.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye all.